This is the Ryder and Lisa replay.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai. Check out the Southtown Hyundai Advantage at southtownhyundai.ca.
What is the best, most wholesome gift you've received from a loved one or a friend?
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't have to be something that was expensive. Mark wrote in saying, I'm an addict. I went to a recovery center for a year. When I was done, my 5-year-old and 2-year-old made me a sign saying, "Congratulations, welcome home. We are proud of you and we love you." Mark says he cried for an hour straight of gratitude and happiness.
So adorable.
Yeah, I love that.
I wonder how much the 2-year-old actually did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a little bit of coloring maybe,
It
but
was more so the 5-year-old.
so cute though.
Yeah.
It was our second year together for my birthday, and my husband, my now husband, he donated to the Edmonton Valley Zoo, and because of the size of his donation, they let us do like a private tour of all the animals. It was in November, so it was kind of cold, but it was still super, super romantic and amazing.
That's so
Probably
sweet.
the best gift I've ever had. Yeah.
So, like, not only did he make a big donation, which is nice, but then you got to enjoy the fruits of his kindness.
Exactly. We did get to see, we went into all the pens. We got to feed the, I think it was a sea lion. And we got to pet the red pandas.
Oh,
That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
it was amazing. They have a sloth as well.
I hate sloths.
Oh my gosh, I almost cried. It was the cutest thing. But they're so slow, we couldn't pet it because it wouldn't do anything. It just sat there the whole time.
fairly awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a few relationships like that.
Same.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate
thank
it.
you, Eileen.
No worries, guys.
Exactly 1 year ago, a local restaurant, Dil-e Punjab, started to offer about 35 free meals a day for anyone who was hungry, no questions asked. Now, a year later, the restaurant hands out 100 meals a day.
Incredible.
So over the last year, it's provided a total of 32,000 meals, and it continues to do so. And the only request that Dil-e Punjab is that people who want a free meal just let the restaurant know in advance. And not only that, but some other people have stepped up to help. There are other people in the city that volunteer a lot. There were a couple of people that met at the Old Strathcona Peace Camp last summer, and they have been actually going to the restaurant, picking up hundreds of meals every single day and delivering them to the homeless. There's actually a Facebook page if you want to check it out. It's called Our Initiative, and that's where they collect donations and post updates. How amazing is that?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Tell me something good.
Yesterday was my 1 year nicotine free. I'd quit, I don't know, 10 times over the last 15, 20 years. And it lasted, a couple months sometimes, a couple weeks sometimes.
You're very good at hiding it. You know how some people just openly smoke, they don't care who knows? For you being a quote unquote public figure, I feel like you've been really good at not glorifying it.
Right. Well, yeah, especially with a younger audience for a lot of years. I didn't want people who looked up to me to think it's cool to smoke, and especially my daughter. So it got to a point where it was tougher and tougher to hide from her.
Well,
as she
what was your
more
go-to line when you would sneak out for smokes?
I'd say I was going to fix this light outside that was broken. And she eventually was like, "Man, Dad, you got to get somebody else in to fix that light."
Yeah, you're checking that 4 times a night. What's the problem out there?
But yeah, it was time. So I told myself, let's do this and let's do it for real this time. And the way I went about it, rather than I was thinking about getting hypnotized, I was thinking about getting QFC tattooed on my smoking finger, which would have meant quit for Charlie, my daughter, because I really want to be around for her life.
Yeah.
As long as possible. But I just decided to try this mind over matter thing. And anytime I had a craving to trash talk it in my head.
What would be an example of a trash talk?
So I'd be my palms would be sweating.
Knees weak, arms are heavy.
Exactly. Irritable.
Yeah.
Mom's spaghetti on my sweater. And
Well, isn't that when you crave it the most after you eat dinner?
yeah, well, that was one of them. And I would just say okay, good try craving, but you're wasting your time. I'm not going to smoke, so I may as well think about something else because this is useless.
You know,
And
the
I
whole
think-
mind over matter thing is quite fascinating. I have a couple friends in my migraine group. There's a bunch of us that use that mechanism, and it works for them half the time.
Right. Or like lessens how drastic it is. But yeah, I mean, for most people, the cravings come and go. So it's just a matter of like staying strong. The crazy thing is when the cravings are hitting, you think that that's your new reality. That until you get nicotine, this is how you're going to feel. But it's never the case. You start feeling better. And it's crazy. Now I can be around people that are smoking.
Well, it's funny you say that because every time you and I are watching a show and there's a lot of smoking in it, like Mad Men glorifies smoking like more than I've ever seen in a show. Peaky Blinders, same thing. I get uncomfortable because I'm like, is he okay? Like, is he focusing on the show?
That was tough for the first couple months.
Yeah.
But now it's really not. If anybody is thinking about quitting and wants some advice that worked for me, I would be more than happy to give my time. So reach out to me on any social media platform or on the text line.
That's so nice.
It's just important for the people around you. They deserve to have you around for a while. So
absolutely.
every time I went to my doctor, she'd be like, "You quit smoking yet?" And if a doctor's telling you that, it means that there's a pretty good chance this stupid habit's going to take you at some point.
So can you get your life insurance
Yes.
lowered now that you've quit for a year? Because they check your blood for that.
I think they do. Yeah, they take it pretty
Dude.
seriously. So yeah, my life
Make that
insurance
happen.
about half as much now. You know what I'm going to spend all my extra money on?
What?
Smokes.
No.
Time for some hot takes on Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Most of these are from parents who were just observing their kids enjoying the weekend.
One of my friends from school, Kirsty, posted that the Easter Bunny had chocolate laid out throughout the night, but her dog did the hunt first. So, not feeling too good the next day, that pup. And then the poor kid is like, where's the chocolate?
Yeah, why is the dog at the vet?
Yeah.
Simon Holland wrote, "Dad, the Easter Bunny should know by now I don't like Rolos, but he gives them to me every year." Me, the dad, eating the Rolos. Yeah, that's weird.
Hey, Rolos are so good. When's the last time you had a Rolo?
Long time.
Now, if you don't follow Simon Holland, he's so relatable when it comes to parenting. He's on Twitter. A lot of people screenshot his tweets and post them all over Instagram. Here's another one from him. Are you ready? Still waiting for this toddler to find the Easter eggs that are literally just sitting on the grass right in front of him.
Twister Doodles wrote, "Easter egg hunts are basically revenge on kids for hiding stuff. Where's the egg? I don't know. Maybe it's with mommy's keys."
Okay, my nephew hid my sister and brother-in-law's keys and they still can't find them.
No, big, expensive mistake.
Expensive mistake. It was his work truck keys and everything. Just a disaster. I really liked the Beavertons article over the weekend. So obviously this is satire, but it says, health conscious man only eats the Cadbury cream egg whites.
That's good. Cheese Boy 22 has an Easter tip. Tell your kids there's an egg with $50 in it in the backyard somewhere, but you're not sure exactly where. And then enjoy a quiet few days indoors.
Few days. Just leave a bowl of water out for them. They'll be fine. And this last one that I found, it was a meme, so they cut out who originally posted the tweet.
Sure.
But I think it's quite relatable if you're a parent or an aunt or an uncle or whatever. Watching your kid pick up 45 eggs in under a minute, but it takes them hours to clean their room.
Legit. I hope you had a great Easter weekend.
Yeah.
Play 107.
It is time for Things That Make You Feel Old.
Yeah.
Things That Make You Feel Old. You were supposed to sing along with me.
I did a little bit.
You just said yeah.
I thought that was good enough.
Okay.
I didn't want to steal your thunder because I'm a much better singer than you. So, all right. So what is making you feel old lately? Gina wrote in saying, I was so surprised when I realized that 9/11 sounds like an old historic event to my children rather than something that happened yesterday.
Right. Like it feels like it was just recent that it should. It is quite a long time ago then now. 20 years?
Yeah, that's crazy.
780-784-7107. What's making you feel old?
So I was speaking to this coworker of mine who is in his early 20s, and we were having a really good conversation, having good laughs, and I remember thinking, man, I'm still feeling good because I'm still having a really good chat with this 20-year-old guy. Until after he tells me, you remind me of my dad because you talk just as like he does.
Oh, no.
You thought you were just killing it with the young peeps?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, I could go on forever about what's making me feel old lately. I have a phone call appointment with my doctor today about the tinnitus that's in my right ear, which is a constant whoosh.
Whereas, like, what, 5 years ago, if you heard that, like, you were going to be talking about tinnitus, you'd think it was a cool club?
Oh, yeah. I had to Google what tinnitus was.
Right.
I wouldn't have. Now I know all about it.
What are the drink specials on Monday at tinnitus?
All right. So this text that rolled in says the Olsen twins are 34 years old. Don't tell me that. Okay. Funny enough, over the weekend, Bob Saget followed me on Twitter.
Hey.
So
that's kind of cool.
If you were to tell 10-year-old Lisa that, who was sitting and watching Full House at the time, Danny Tanner was a father figure to me. Now I'm 31 and we're Twitter friends. Like we could hang out.
Right.
What is that about?
Yeah.
That makes me feel ancient.
Quite often I'll reminisce about my childhood and think, like, in my memories about how old all my friends' parents were. Uh-huh. But I'm that age now. Like, I'm the age of all my
parents
growing up.
And you thought they were old.
Yeah.
They were old people. So we're old.
Touch.
To your daughter, we are so old.
Yeah, big time.
Well, even Charlie's mom, she posted on Instagram the other day where she was going for a run and Charlie was on her bike behind her. And she quoted your daughter saying, your daughter says, you run pretty fast for an old person. Like, that's what 9-year-olds think of us as.
Yeah.
Old people. Jack wrote in saying, it makes me feel old that they're releasing a sequel to Space Jam, and I hate the idea.
No, I watched the preview today.
It looks pretty. We got to give it a chance.
Looks good. LeBron looks like
he can act.
Yeah. He's got enough swag, I suppose.
Because, can I be honest? Like, Michael Jordan was not a good actor.
No.
He was such a bad actor in Space Jam.
And they've given it enough time to rest that I think it's in tribute of the movie. They're not just trying to make a buck. That's what I'd like to think anyway.
Okay, so what is making you feel old lately? It could be anything.
I got one. Metamucil. Really delicious. Time for some of the strangest stories we could find in the deep, dark holes of the interweb.
Now it's time for something that you'll probably forget. It's things Lisa found on the internet. Hey!
A Florida man has been taken into custody for stealing a patrol car and driving off while his hands were still handcuffed behind his back. Like, how far do you think you're going to get, bud? You're using your chin to steer?
Your teeth probably a bit.
Yeah, maybe. He ended up
knees?
Oh,
that's how my buddy's dad always drove because he always had a beer in his hand.
That's awful.
I know.
So this guy runs out of gas in a town of Edson, not Alberta. It's in Kansas.
If he would have got pulled over or like ran out of gas in Edson, Alberta, he would have fit in with the handcuffs.
Ryder, that's not very
Boy,
nice.
that town is like bad news.
A young couple that were admiring a large piece of artwork in South Korea added a few brush strokes of their own because they thought the paintbrushes and paint beside it meant it was this piece of it's like a participatory, is that how you say it? Art?
Participatory. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, art that you can add to is basically what I'm trying to say. All right, get off my back, which is quite popular. Turns out the paintbrushes and paint were just part of this piece of art.
They weren't supposed to use it.
They weren't supposed to use it. $440,000 fine if insurance doesn't cover it. But also, I'm reading here that the artist can say that it's fine and they can leave it as is with no charges. So now this couple's waiting on to see if this artist is
Can you imagine?
A jerk or not.
You're either having to pay $440,000 or nothing. That would be the most intense phone call ever.
Yeah. I wonder what they drew on it. That would determine it. If they added to the masterpiece or if they made it look like a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
Well,
what would you draw, Ryder?
No, we're not going to get into that.
We all know. All right, the last story that I found. This is wild. Russian doctors and nurses stayed behind in a burning building to complete an open heart surgery.
Wow.
The patient is actually doing well. They all got out safely eventually. That's crazy. That's commitment.
Well, the intensity alone of having an open heart patient there that you're doing surgery on, let alone, hey, we might die in a fire. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they did like a better job because they're like, let's go. Mm-hmm. Everybody's zoned in. Nobody's like taking selfies in the background, right?
Do people do that in open heart surgery rooms?
I don't know. There's a new park in Clairview that is causing quite a buzz in a very good way here in Edmonton.
Yep. So it's an inclusive playground, which is a great addition to our city. So it's for children and adults in wheelchairs, so everyone can access it. So if you really think about parks that have the sand and you kind of have to step up to get into it,
right? That's
not accessible for people in a wheelchair.
Not at all. Like, quite difficult to get around there. So this is all set up.
Mm-hmm. It looks like the ground is foam, and then there's just a lot of really accessible ramps to get right in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
I love that.
When you think of certain situations, like maybe one sibling is in a wheelchair and there are a couple of other siblings that they want to play with, this now gives everybody the opportunity to go and do that together rather than sitting on the sidelines, which would be a very difficult thing to try to comprehend as a kid, especially. So awesome. Big ups to the city planning crew and the community of Clairview for making this happen.
Ryder and Lisa.
Brought to you by Southtown Hyundai.
Play 107.